Yo, what's good, boys? Welcome back to Cree Talk. Today we're going to be talking about Ecclesiastes 8:2. And that states, I counsel thee to keep the king's commandments, and that in regard of the oath of God. Right? So, obviously, first of all, he's talking about respecting the Ten Commandments that God has given us, right? To guide us to a more righteous and a more fulfilling life, right? But what I'm getting from this is to respect your elders, to respect your parents, to respect people of authority in your life, right? And there were so many times as a kid where I was disciplined, I was punished for things that just didn't make sense to me at the time. Like, why are they doing this to me? Like, I mean, not even for sometimes punishments, but like, I would just sometimes like not understand like where my parents are coming from when they say this, and they're like, you'll thank us later, right? For example, bro, like I wouldn't even be able to have my phone or play video games past 8 o'clock every single night. And I look around at so many kids that I grew up with that were able to do that. They were able to have that privilege growing up, and they stay up all night long and they don't get the best sleep, right? And looking at it now, I used to get mad at my parents all the time and just not understand them and just get so mad at them and just devalue their wisdom, right? Because I just didn't understand at that time. I was so young, and I just didn't understand. I was like, Mom and Dad, like, why can't I just stay up late? And they're like, Bryson, go to bed early, right? You're gonna go to bed early, and you're gonna wake up, at a better time, right? Instead of all these other guys waking up at, in halfway through the afternoon, right? And at the time, again, it just didn't make sense to me. But as I got older, as I gained more wisdom, I figured out, what? My parents were right. My parents were right about that, you know? And I'm not saying that parents are always right 100% of the time. You must always respect them, okay? And their understandings of things, okay? So, like, specific things like that, they were right about. But, there is a mix, especially when it comes to this entrepreneur stuff. Parents are not. 90% of people, if you say you're going to be a millionaire, they're not going to believe you. They're not going to believe you, right? No one thinks I'm like legit. No one thinks I'm gonna make 1 million a month, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. No one believes that if I tell them that, right? And when I told my parents before, I'm gonna make this trading stuff happen, they'd never said to my face that that's never gonna happen. But you can just understand. Like when I first started trading, I was a few months in. My dad laughed at me when he asked me, Bryson, where do you see yourself when you're 60 years old? If you continue doing this, where do you see yourself? And at this time, I was brand new to trading, and I said I was making like 10K a month. I think I said like $120,000 a year, $100,000 a year. And he laughed at me for trading. After 50 years of day trading, I'm making $100,000 a year. Little did I know, bro. Little did I know. But that's besides the point. But if I just let that get to me right away and say, you know what, my parents are 100% always right, then I would never be where I'm at now. I would not, I would not be at this place that I'm at now with my trading, and but the impact that I've had over so many people's lives. And again, it's just a balance, right? You need to listen to your parents, but you do not have to apply everything that they're teaching you. Everything that they're saying, you don't need to apply to your life. Listen to everything with a grain of salt, okay? And for me, them saying, Bryson, you must go to college to be successful, if you don't have a backup plan, you're going to be it's not going to work out. You're going to be a failure, essentially, right? Like, there are so many people out there, the majority of multimillionaires, billionaires, they grew up from nothing. They had nothing. And I live in a great home, okay? But they grew up from nothing. Or if they did grow up in a nice house or whatever, they went through a lot. To keep it simple, they believe in me, but they don't believe in the idea of trading. They don't believe in that entrepreneurial side. They want me to go to college and then possibly own a business one day, or go to college and then somehow over time invest slowly to the point where I'm making good, returns through investments, right? But I know I can make this day trading stuff happen. And if I listen to them in the beginning saying that, what, Bryson, like 99% quit, 99% fail. No, not 99% quit, 99% fail. right? If I listened to that, I would not be in the space that I'm in today. I would not be in the place that I am today. So take everything with a grain of salt from your authorities, from your parents, from your elders, and understand where they're coming from and what wisdom they hold. Okay? If they're in a place that you do not want to be in life, don't listen to them. Okay? There's specific things that you should listen to them, but when it's coming to money, when it's coming to business, if there's, a person that's been working their entire life, for example, my dad, why should I listen to him when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur? He's on a completely different path. So just take everything with a grain of salt, but respect the people and listen to them. Again, understand where they're coming from. I understand where my parents are coming from, why they're trying to get me to go to school. It's because that's just the way they were nurtured. That's the way they're nurtured. Now it's a completely different time, right? So you got to understand where they're coming from. You can't get mad at them. Understand where they're coming from and make your best decision, right? Being able to listen to people doesn't mean you have to actually do what they're saying, okay? Yeah, appreciate y'all, boys. If y'all want to join in the Discord, it'll be left down in the description. It's called Creed. Other than that, thank y'all again for being here, and let's kill it this week.